What's cracking, guys? This is Bruce Matson, your host of the show, Metric Scout Fantasy Football. And I just want to talk about Rashod Bateman yesterday. We hit a down points right now. Against Steelers, he didn't do anything. It didn't do anything. The Ravens looked bad. The workload wasn't there. It was non-existent. Honestly, I don't know what to do going forward for the rest of the season. Hodling? Maybe, yeah. But there's also a point where you got to look at other options. You shouldn't look down on Hodling still because he does have the talent. He does have a decent sample size of him getting workload, him getting targets, but he's not a safe option to put in your fantasy lineups. I didn't really recommend him to be in your fantasy lineups last week against Steelers game due to how low a volume game that was going to be, unless you were desperate, unless you needed that upside. Same thing with the Browns, and he's got the Browns again this week. I don't know if the Ravens are capable of scoring over 20 points in this game again. So you may want to look at other options here. There comes a point where if you need to drop him for a player, go ahead and do it. But if you have the space, maybe hold him. I don't know what's on your waiver wire. If there's a young wide receiver like him or a young running back who's got the upside, who's got the pedigree that you can stash as an asset just in case they go boom. If there is, you may want to think other options, but Rashod Bateman still has that. Rashod Bateman still has the talent. Rashod Bateman has showed us his talent on the field. It's not like he hasn't. It's not like he hasn't had workload. Honestly, we may get more of this story coming out this week. We may get more details of why it wasn't targeted as much, but honestly, the Ravens are broken. This offense is broken. They've scored less than 20 points in 5 of their last 6 games. Damn near half the season. And that is bad. At the beginning of the year, they were lighting it up, throwing it deep, passing it more. Now they've slowed things down. It's been anemic. It's not been look good. Lamar Jackson was in and out of the lineup a little bit, but it doesn't matter. It just hasn't been good. It makes it hard to rely really on many of the pass catchers in that offense to begin with. Mark Andrews probably. Marquise Brown if you want to shoot for some upside, but at one point Marquise Brown was one of the top wide receivers in fantasy, and now this offense just went straight to the toilet on us. I don't know what to pin that on, but I can definitely tell you for Rashod Bateman's fantasy value that he is a touchdown-dependent asset unless this team kicks it into gear and starts targeting him and giving him the targets that he deserves, because it's not like he hasn't been getting separation or getting open, because we've shown this on the channel. So right now, my fantasy advice for Rashod Bateman, don't have him in your lineups, especially for this week against the Browns. This will probably be the week he goes off because I said that. But again, these low-scoring games, which the Ravens are always in now because they don't want to flood the ball through the air like they were in the start of the season, is just going to put a negative impact on the game script and make it hard for these wide receivers to hit. So right now, if he's not getting more than a 20% target share, it's going to be hard to rely on him, and really you're just hoping he crosses the goal line. If you need a Hail Mary wide receiver that could get their first touchdown grab who's due, maybe Rashod Bateman. There's probably other options. He does have the talent for that. If you exclude this last week's game, you're looking at a wide receiver who's targeted decently in the offense, 19% target share. The air yards aren't there. He's not getting targeted deep downfield. That's the one thing that's scary about his overall projections from a week-to-week standpoint. But overall, he's talented. He shows he can run good routes. He showed he can make amazing one-handed catches. And there's been times where they'll target him even when he's covered because they're trying to get the ball out to him. So that's a good thing to notice. Just the Steelers game was really iffy to why he was non-existent. I'm sure the story's going to come out in a few days, maybe even by the time you watch this video. But really, I wanted to give you a recap because a lot of people are talking about it right now. But really, Rashod Bateman's a guy that if this continues to happen, is a player that we want to buy on the cheap in Dynasty, because I believe if he had a full season starting off the year, he'd be a 1,000-yard receiver, guarantee it, and I bet he'd have more run in the offense considering how badly they wanted to get him involved once he was coming back from injury. But I just don't trust this Ravens offense, and I don't know if I can trust them for the rest of the year considering we just had 5 horrific games in their last 6 where their offense couldn't do nothing. But I want to thank you for watching the show, sticking with me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. It's right here, and I'll catch you next time.